Hi students, welcome to Chapter 7, Social Stratification in the United States. In this chapter we're going to be talking about the difference between open stratification systems and closed stratification systems. An open stratification system would be one that we have in the United States. For example, people often move from one class to another. I usually give an example of some presidents. For example, Abraham Lincoln, born in a log cabin, became president of the United States. Bill Clinton, raised by a single mom, the same, became president. But then there are also a lot of presidents that did not change classes, that were always in the upper classes. And here we have Franklin Roosevelt, our George Bush, and our current president, Donald Trump. These three people were born into privileged classes, and some people might say had a lot easier time because of the resources given to them. Most people that are born into a certain class remain in that class in their lifetimes, although it is possible for them to move out and move to an upper class. And it's also possible to people who have been born in a privileged class, an upper class, to move down classes. So that's what we refer to, that's what we mean we refer to open class systems. A closed caste system is a system like the caste system. Historically in India, the caste system was one in which if you were born into, you stayed in that caste. It was against the law, in fact, to move from one caste to the other. So this is what we call a closed system. Of course, now in India, that has been outlawed. But culturally, still, it's very difficult for people to move from one caste to another. Another thing that we'll talk about is the U.S. class structure system. Basically, it's composed of lower class, middle class, and upper class. But within those three structures of class, you'll have embedded other classes. For example, within the middle class, you have lower middle class, and then upper middle class. And there's distinctions between each of those classes. So in this unit, another thing that we'll be talking about is global stratification. So not only is there stratification within countries, or even within states, within cities, sometimes even within a neighborhood, but there is a phenomenon called global stratification. And if you've ever traveled outside the United States, you've probably experienced some of this global inequality. A good example now are a lot of the undocumented immigrants traveling from Honduras, other parts of Central America. This is an applicable example of worldwide inequalities, because obviously these people wouldn't be walking sometimes hundreds of miles from their countries if they had resources, if they had money. And then we have to ask ourselves why they're escaping those countries. So that's another issue that we'll be covering in this chapter. As always, one of the important things here is for you to be able to apply the theories to class inequality. So as we go through, you're going to be seeing a video about a woman named Tammy. Tammy is, as you will see, is obviously a member of the lower class. She works at Burger King. She doesn't have a car. She lives in a dilapidated mobile home. She makes minimum wage. So as you're getting to know Tammy, I want you to think about what you would do in that situation to be able to get out of your class. The other thing I want you to do with Tammy is to be able to apply one of the theories to her situation. Each one of these theories is easily applied. If you've been reading the chapters and have been thinking about the theories and how a sociologist applies those theories to a social situation. So Tammy's case, that's what I would like you to do. I believe there's an activity within this chapter for you to hand in and think about and expressing to me what theory you would apply to Tammy's situation. Another videos that you're going to be seeing will introduce you to my favorite sociologist, who's Pierre Bourdieu. I really like Pierre Bourdieu because he's a modern 20th century sociologist. He completed an exhaustive study of how upper class people create social boundaries to keep lower class people from entering their class domain. So I think you'll pick this up in the videos as you watch the elements of Bourdieu. Okay, students, I hope you enjoy this chapter on social stratification. It might awaken some of you to some of the problems that we have in the United States, especially now as there's a continued wealth gap between the rich and the poor. And a lot of people who were once in the middle class are actually going to the lower classes. Okay, so I'll see you next time.